It's the NACL Round 2 qualifiers, winners bracket round number 4, which means that if you have a favorite team in this matchup, they're not going to be going home quite yet. There's still the losers bracket to bounce them back into the NACL tournament number 2. But right now, it's a best-of-3 series between LMQ iBuyPower over on the blue side, and on the red team, it's Super Team NA. It's not what I'm calling them. That's literally their team name. If you look it up in Rank 5s, that's what they're called. And it's made of a lot of Challenger solo queue superstars, former Challenger team players, but with a bit of a twist now that we have Arthlon in the top lane, Nikwu in the jungle, Chuper in the mid lane, and, well, Echo and Executioner Ken where they've always been.
Indeed they are. This is the match I think pretty much most of us have been looking forward to, and oh, so far 100% Javelin connection, and look at the HP Chuper loss from that one as well. My goodness, Zhao. He's got the sniping started up. He's gonna go 2 for 2. Nah, he's just scaring him back.
Oh man, so Chuper gonna have to be very, very protective of that one. LMQ may mean love my queen, but that doesn't mean that Zhao is gonna take any less aggression on Orianna in the mid lane matchup. He didn't really make the Orianna robot in memory of his daughter, so he's not gonna be all too worried about roughing her up in the early stages of the game. But regardless of that, we do have kind of a line of scrimmage so far set up for either team. We do see Renekton and Gragas kind of poking at each other just a little bit, maybe trying to put some trinket wards down, but Ackerman actually doesn't put a ward over in that tri-brush, just kind of seeing if there's any lane swap shenanigans going on. Both teams look to just be protecting the junglers at this early stage, and really no trinkets have gone down yet. Normally you see them being put down around the time they get activated, around the 130 or so mark, but nothing has really gone down. There's no vision besides just over the wall in the bottom lane for Super Team.
So we see No Name actually kind of jumped the gun on his volatile sparkling there. That was a little unfortunate, but he's not going to lose too much damage on that one. His lane's going to give him some good control, some good help rather, which means that they'll actually maybe lose a little bit of their control. As you see, Echo runs back out, immediately throws some damage down to this one. They're going to be able to push this back over. They want to rush that fast level 2 because they know exactly how weak Executioner Ken is in this matchup until he has access to both Zenith Blade and his stun coming off with the Q, the Shield of Deadbreak.
Well, we saw Echo and Executioner Ken going to lane immediately because Nikwu's Lee Sin started at his red buff. So they are going to have a slight experience advantage. It's only about a minion or so, and Vasily and Morph kind of made up for it by this point in time. So that level 2 is going to be very interesting to see when it hits and where it hits. Hitting level 2 right now from Executioner Ken and Echo, they're too close to the tower to really make anything happen, but how much can they zone out Vasily and Morph is a question that's going to be answered in just a little bit.
Absolutely. Echo is taking every opportunity he has to safely step up, use the switcheroo to give him access to fish bones, and then just put an auto attack down onto Vasily. Vasily, I mean, he's got a decent amount of sustain coming out here with his lifesteal Quince and his Doran's Blade, so it's not really causing him too many issues right now. Just trying to kind of soften him up so that they can get these trades down a little bit later. And so far, Vasily is the one who's winning out these trades. When he goes in with the Piercing Light, gets a double auto attack from his passive, he's the one who's coming out ahead right now. So LMQ, despite not being able to push the lane over and exert an experience advantage, they're still the ones who are getting the better of these little poke trades, kind of avoiding engagements until Executioner Ken goes in like that.
Executioner can win in on Lucian, but the passive and just the ability to spam out spells that Lucian has over Jinx, applying a little bit more pressure in these kind of one-for-one trade situations. Lucian gets an auto attack and a passive shot off. Jinx really can't respond. She has to stop and stand still to pop that zap out, and really needs Executioner Ken to set up those trades a bit more in her favor. Gragas and Renekton in the top lane actually trading blows back and forth quite effectively in favor of Arthlon. Gragas getting a bit of the best of the Crocodile in top lane, at least for the time being. Ackerman does wind up going back, picks up a Doran's Blade for his trip back, as well as a ward and a health potion. He's looking just to try to pressure this Gragas early.
And you see the early skill build coming out here from Gragas. It's 2 points into W, 1 point into Body Slam. So the Drunken Rage giving him that damage reduction, giving him the mana regeneration, and just generally making him ridiculously tanky. The bonus attack damage also helping out with the Body Slam when he goes in onto that one. So he's, I like the way he's playing this one thus far. They both start off with the Doran shields, and Ackerman's going to go ahead and head back to base and pick himself up an extra Doran's Blade to make him a little bit more competitive in this lane.
Yeah, and it's given Arthlon a bit of time to CS, but Ackerman's going to have a little bit extra damage and just a bit more sustain from a little bit of extra life he gets when he winds up trading in those auto attacks, or it goes up for a little bit of CS. On top of his Cold and Meek, he's going to be A-okay to sit in this lane for just a little bit longer. We see potentially the first move being made by No Name in the mid lane here. Orianna pushing forward has a little bit of a low mana bar, and in comes Elise. See if he winds up getting the cocoon down onto Chuper. The shield goes off, the flash has to be burned. Nidalee Spear does not connect right there, Repel goes up, but No Name's going to go over to the Raids. Chuper is forced out.
Really, really nice game coming out here from No Name, being able to force that flash out. So Chuper is going to have one less resource available to him to kind of deal with the pressure that Xiao is going to be able to apply. And Nidalee, once she hits 6, the kill potential goes through the roof. There's so much follow-up and there's so much extra pain. And the fact that he's going to have that level 6 before Chuper is, because of him having a base right now, could be absolutely catastrophic. If he doesn't have the command shockwave available to artificially create space between the Nidalee and the Orianna when the all-in happens, it could go very, very quickly into 1 kill for Xiao.
Well, we see Executioner Ken popping the W here. The Eclipse Shield goes off. Moore's taking a lot of damage, but the Whimsy goes out onto Hayam Echo. He's taking a lot of damage from Vasily, who winds up going in. The Flash is burned, but in top lane, First Blood goes down as Elise picked up a gank there as well. Executioner Ken playing some zone defense as Echo has to get away. It's a 1 for none in top lane and forcing away the enemy AD carry for LMQ in the bottom side.
Just a fantastic dive up in the top lane from that one. Ackerman didn't even have to pop the ultimate, knew that they had the tanky, just knew that they had the burst damage coming out from the Elise. And I wasn't checking Gragas for little bubbles coming out of him. I'm not sure if he had the Drunken Rage active on that one or not, but there was just so much burst coming out from the Renekton and the Elise. As soon as they had him locked down under the tower with no mobility, he didn't even have the opportunity to try to flash and turn that play around. There was simply no escape for him, and he went down just like that. LMQ strike first, and they grab the first blood.
First blood for LMQ, as well as advantages in the bottom lane, and arguably one of the stronger members of their team is Vasily, the AD carry. On his back, he winds up picking up a Phage for himself, so it's going to be a Trinity Force acquisition, it looks like, for the Lucian on the bottom lane, whereas Jinx, with minimal CS by comparison, down 13 right now in the lane phase, goes back, picks up some health potions, mana potions, as well as a Vampiric Scepter for herself, most likely going towards that Bloodthirster build for her. On the top side of the map, we do see that Gragas' first item has been a Giant's Belt, and just looking at the ability power he has right now, it's 0. So this could potentially be that displacement AoE only usage from Gragas and just going straight tank build afterwards. Sunfire Cape or Randy One's Omen, standard kind of tanky top laner stuff, just with his ultimate to disperse these team fights.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting so far. I mean, the early game, Ackerman's totally in control of this one. Got a big CSC, was able to pick up that first kill as well. Arthalon ulting it back onto the tower, just slices his way right back out of it.
Well, Ackerman is down fairly low, has the dominance available. He's going to have to pop it here against Arthalon. Is he going to wind up getting the little stun down? It is not going to wind up being available quite yet. Chooses not to do so, and is just going to wind up using it on a minion for himself instead. Meanwhile, Nidalee being zoned out here by Nick Wu on his Lee Sin. Looks like they are going to make some motions towards this top lane. The dominance is done. Ackerman does have a full bar of rage, however, though, so he could heal things up with a level 4 Coldamig quite efficiently. We'll have to see here as Nick Wu tries to continue pressuring this thing in top lane. Bottom lane, though, we do have Executioner Ken going in. Moore does not get locked up by the Flame Chompers. They group up because they're against the wall. Now Vasily and Moore hit them after the Whimsy goes down onto Hayam Echo, and Echo taking down extremely low there by a piercing light from Vasily. Moore wants to try to go in for this one. The zap goes out, but it goes wide into the right. Moore is going to put down the health picks, though. Vasily picks up a kill underneath the tower. Moore with the tower aggro. Nothing gets done to Lucian, and they just back away. But in the mid lane, Xiao once again getting hit up by the command Shockwave, but it's Super that goes down afterwards. Flash and the Q from Nick Wu does not find his target. Xiao trying to run away. There's a pink ward there for Nick Wu, but a great ultimate there from Moore is going to wind up saving Nidalee. Executioner Ken on the chase. LMQ 3-0.
I can't even process how well that was all played by Moore. And Arthalon looks like he's going to get dived again.
Well, there's a slice, but no dice to follow up after that. Flash Cocoon, though, is met with a flash by Arthalon. He's going to get himself out of this one, but is an Elise and a Renekton behind the enemy lines in top lane. But with the jungler away, Nick was going to play, and he picks up a dragon for this NA super team right here, or Super Team NA, as their name is, closing the goal gap to about 2,000 as they pick up the first global objective of the game.
All right, so Moore was able to take the tower aggro, which actually set up, and then just immediately clear it. Like, he took the one tower shot and just got immediately out the second that their target went down, as they were able to pick up that kill on a Hayam Echo. And that was, I mean, just so beautifully played. And then being able to roam up and time his ultimate to pop up the Lee Sin as soon as he comes over with the safeguard. Like, Moore, I do not have words for the quality of the Lulu play that we just saw there. That was absolutely incredible, and I cannot sing his praises enough. So much pressure that he's allowed his team to pick up. The first dragon is going to go over to Super Team NA, but the first tower in the top lane is going to get picked up here by LMQ, and we've seen that trade go in favor of the tower so many times.
Well, the tower does go down in top lane there, so LMQ make the first strike at the enemy champions with first blood, and they pick up the first tower on the map. Dragons, like you did mention before, in favor of Super Team NA, but that gold count slowly but surely creeping in LMQ's favor. Bottom lane, though, Solofur goes down. Moore does not have the ultimate available for a couple more seconds, but he does have a flash. Gets away from the Flame Chompers from Echo and Executioner Ken, where Summoner Spell has been burned in that bottom lane.
Alright, so they do get that Summoner Spell out. They did have to burn the Leona ultimate for it, but the Leona ultimate is going to come back up first. Moore, however, as long as he has the ultimate available and Vasily is in a position to deal a lot of damage, it's really, really difficult for Leona to justify going for an all-in. Because Vasily is so mobile, it's really difficult for Executioner Ken to lock him down. If they keep focusing the support, Vasily's just going to get on Echo.
Oh, but Vasily winds up getting hit by a Zenith Blade as well. Echo has to pop the barrier, trying to get out of this one, but oh man, Vasily with the calling is able to pick up a kill onto Jinx as well as turn on to Executioner Ken. Nick Wu says hello as he comes down into the bottom lane, but it's only going to push away the AD carry and support that have already picked up the 4th kill of the game for LMQ.
That was exactly what I was talking about, and it played out in the middle of while I was trying to go through it all in my head. Leona can only really lock up one target at a time if she doesn't have her ultimate available. There's not that much AOE No Name going back into the jungle.
Nick Ru is going to get shielded there from Orianna. Does not go down quite yet, but Vasily coming in from the side picks up a killing spree as Lee Sin's in his sights. Command Shockwave comes out from Trooper. There's a Super Mega Death Rocket, but there's no death to follow that one except for Troopers as he goes down for the 6th kill by LMQ iBuyPower.
LMQ are running away from this one. Their rotations are so good. They're collapsing so incredibly well. They're applying an amazing amount of pressure, and they're finding so many opportunities. And every opportunity they find, they clean it up. Wei Xiao was there. He was going to pick up that kill with the Javelin, but Nick Wu dodged it out, but he had to step into Vasily's range in order to do so. It ended up costing him so much. Arthalon goes for the ult onto Ackerman.
Oh, Ackerman is getting a little bit of trouble, but he has the Dominus available. Arthalon with his ultimate burn still has the Ignite, but that's not going to help against the straight HP game that Dominus offers against Renekton. But in comes Nick Wu from the side. Are they going to be able to turn something around? It looks like the side of Ackerman decides to just walk away from that one. Doesn't want to try to tempt fate this time around.
And that's probably wise. As you see, I mean, the Gragas is going in for the tanky build, like he mentioned. Looks like he's going for a first item Sunfire Cape. This is smart building against Renekton. But at this point, Ackerman is so in control. He's picked up a Tiamat, and his lane shoving potential is so strong, and his survivability with Slice and Dice plus his ultimate is constantly getting him out of these bad situations. Whenever Arthalon does find an opportunity, Xiao, Trooper just kind of took a nap on that one and just walked right into the Javelin. I mean, so much damage coming out from Xiao, and he is utterly dominating this lane.
Well, we talked about how the lane swap situation was going to affect some of these challenger tier players that have played for other teams in other positions, and right now it's not looking like it was. They're not the most comfortable in their new shoes, so to speak. They have to kind of break them in, and well, they're definitely going to try breaking them in against one of the top challenger teams in NA in LMQ, as Echo has to burn a flash, but Culling almost picking up a kill. It's like it's almost did damage that time.
All right. Oh, Xiao. He wants this.
Oh, Xiao. Pounce, flash, kill onto Jinx. Executioner Ken trying to run for his own life, though. Xiao throws out a couple spears right there. He does want to getting dodged out by Leona, but still, it's 7-0 right now. It's a shutout spree so far for the side of LMQ. They take down the 2nd tower, and that's actually the 2nd tower in the bottom lane of the outside there. Dragon's going to be up in 1 minute and 30 seconds. LMQ, that's the only thing they haven't gotten in this game, but that could potentially be theirs for the taking in just a little bit.
Vasily, okay. Hayam Echo just picked up that BF sword. That meant that for about a minute and a half there, it was Triforce versus Vamp Scepter. Dive going on to the top lane one more time.
Arthalon getting dope with the Sunfire Cape. He's pretty tanky, forces a lot of flashes. The Repel comes out from No Name as well. Arthalon is going to be able to escape with his life, but that tower, I don't know if that life is going to be staying around for a while. Trooper gets hit up by another good spear there coming out from Xiao on the rotation to try to help Arthalon in this top lane, but that tower is taking way too much damage. Pings for help go down from Arthalon, but the tower is already at 500 HP. Ackerman and No Name just taking turns, just walking back and forth. The minions are hitting it, they're hitting it, and it is going to go down to Ackerman. 3rd tower of the game, and it's an inner top tower for LMQ.
The amount of control that LMQ are exerting across the map is unbelievable right now. They're going to take down their 4th tower here. Maybe not be able to take it down all the way, but they do get some good damage down onto it as Moore comes back up with Xiao. And this will be the focus as it is the only remaining outer tower. They've already taken down the top inner tower as well. The amount of map control they have, the amount of gold advantage they have. They're up 7,000 gold at 15 minutes. They take away the blue buff. No, it does go on to Orianna, and Vasily has to run.
Vic Wu there, almost called him King for a second, missing the kick back there against Vasilius. Now he's going to want it turning it around. The culling went out. The ward goes down. He wants to try to chase down onto Nick Wu. Damage is coming out. He does wind up going over towards the white, and Nick Wu barely going to get out of there with his life. Interception duties being played by Arthlon and Executioner Ken on the opposite side. But at this point in time, Ackerman and Zhao Wei Zhao have been left to push the outer mid tower. All three outer towers are down, and an inner top one is down. LMQ, they have a team that's great at going to siege for towers and diving against them, but when they have 7 kills to the opposition 0, don't even need to fight them because they cannot defend those towers here.
Absolutely not. The dragon's back up. LMQ, they move into the area to try to exert dragon control, to take away the map control, to clear out the vision, and to be in position for this one. And even in just doing that, they're able to find opportunities to burn people down. Arthlon wants to start this fight.
Well, the command shockwave goes off on the no-name. Vasily actually gets locked up as well, trying to get out of there. Super Mega Death Rocket goes through, and the shutdown spree goes on to Arthlon. Tanky Gragas picks himself up a kill with what damage he has. The ball goes out, no-name goes up, and he comes down onto Ackerman. It's a double kill now for Arthlon, diving under the tower onto more. Rockets are going off the lockup from the Zenith Blade. Trooper picks up the kill, and it's 3 quick unanswered kills there for the side of Super Team NA, but they're hemorrhaging towers, and lots of lanes are being pushed down. Mid lane and top lane are being pushed to their inner and outer towers respectively.
This is just, I mean, so much pushing power. Great rotation by Arthlon coming back down though, and finding an opportunity where LMQ honestly kind of overstayed their welcome. They really committed super hard to taking down that dragon. They were able to get it, but then on the way trying to run back out, you see the power of that tank Gragas. He doesn't have the front-loaded burst damage, but in those kind of extended engagements, he's able to chase people down with his high mobility and high, how do I say this, the repeatability of his CC. He's able to get an AoE slowdown with Body Slam while he uses it to reposition himself and stay right on top of the fight. Even though their ultimates weren't very effective, he just he used the explosive cast to put No Name back into the fight, and then Trooper used the command shockwave to kind of toss No Name around and get a little bit of damage down. It didn't end up mattering because they were still able to pick up those kills because of how much extra pressure they had available with them right now. The question is going to be, now that Xiao Wei Zhao has picked up a Rabadon's Death Cap, has a blue elixir in his inventory, and has just picked up the blue buff now, how long will it be before LMQ force Super Team NA into a bad siege situation, potentially on this mid-inner tower right now, and those javelins start to take their toll?
Well, Zhao Wei Zhao has gone back. Death Cap and Athene's on a Holy Grail in his inventory means that in Italy, there's the Negatron Cloak and the Athene's and Holy Grail are the biggest magic resistance items on the side of Super Team NA, and Nidalee Spears are already packing a punch behind them, but they do catch on the Zhao Wei Zhao. Command Shockwave actually misses on Nidalee right there. Ackerman is in the thick of everything right now, gets the Lulu ultimate, the Wild Growth is on. Ackerman's HP bar is still staying at steady, about half HP. The culling goes over the walls. Nick Wu goes down to Lulu. Executioner Ken goes back in to sacrifice himself for the good of his team, but that's 2 kills to the price of none for LMQ. Nidalee Spear does not connect with anything, but LMQ's blades will clash with the inner tier 2 tower in the mid lane against Super Team NA. It's 5-0 in towers, 9-3 in kills, and LMQ are knocking down the mid inhibitor door.
Or is just face taking this one up so that the range minion doesn't die and they still have the opportunity to push this down. They take down the inhibitor. They don't want to overstay and try to take, or they take down the inhibitor tower rather. They don't want to try to overstay and grab the inhibitor. But Vasily showing that trademark aggression. He's just running forward, poking people down. He wants this inhibitor. He does not want his team to leave without it.
No, not yet, and they do have still. The ultimates are down on their side. Arthlon wants to go in here. Explosive cast is not up. He's quite tanky. He's taking a lot of damage coming out from here. Ackerman gets caught up on those flame chompers. Executioner Ken and Nick Wu go in. Ackerman's the one that gets kicked back though, but he slices and dices the way out of there. Nick Wu gets shot down low. Super Mega Death Rocket causes a Super Mega Boo-Boo, but no death whatsoever as LMQ just continue this siege. The Nidalee heals with blue buff. The Lulu helping shield people. Just the continued sustain and damage output. They're able to wind up turning that fight around. They don't stay for the inhibitor, though they are going to wisely back away with a 10,500 gold lead at 19.5 minutes.
This is, I mean, just dominating play. There's no other way to describe it right now. Ackerman is being so careful with his positioning and kind of dancing around these fights and taking aggro and dropping aggro, stuff like that. He hasn't built very tanky yet. He's yet to build an armor item. He's got the Giant Spell coming out here right now, but he's gone for a Spectre's Cowl first instead, as he's more worried about the damage output that Trooper and Arthlon are going to be able to bring, rather than the damage that Nick Wu and Hayam Echo are able to bring to bear against him right now. He's being so careful with his positioning, he's yet to fall down, and he's applying an insane amount of pressure. But right now, I mean, the big stories have to be Vasily, who has the Triforce done, is well on his way to a Blade of the Ruin King, And then Wei Xiao, who has the Rabadon Zephyr, has the Athenes and Holy Grails, got the cooldown reduction, got the mana regeneration, has the strong siege potential. LMQ, once they put this red buff on the Vasily, I expect to see them make a big play in towards this inhibitor as Ackerman finds himself in a 2v1 in the jungle.
Well, it looks like the Executioner Ken and NACL are going to get jumped on here by Ackerman. The close comes in from No Name and Zhao. Cocoon lands on Executioner Ken. The Nidalee Spear just takes away half of his HP. Ackerman's left with scraps after that one. The raw damage from Zhao is just too much for Super Team NA to handle.
This is almost a situation where if one of our skill shots lands, basically, like, Zhao is going to be able to get the spear down and just wreck everybody. The Glitter Lance can slow someone up enough for him to be able to land that one down. The Cocoon can land enough. There's just so much damage output that comes from this one. The Super Team NA, they have nothing that can stand in front of this Nidalee right now. I mean, just absolutely nothing. Even Arthalon was getting chunked down by that one, and he's the tankiest person on the team.
Oh man, the inhibitor goes down at 20 minutes and 56 seconds into the game. LMQ are poised and powerful to take game number 1 of this best of 3 series. It's 10 kills compared to 3, and with the gold count the way it stands right now, 11,000 in the favor of LMQ iBuy power. Just the sheer itemization on their characters is enough to make the Super Team NA kind of quake in their base at this point in time. Defensive itemization is key for them. That's all they have against the raw damage that LMQ has, and here's a fight to show it off right now. Vasily gets knocked in, he flashes out with the Lulu ult on him anyway. Ackerman is in the thick of things, the culling goes out, command shockwave just kind of grinds everybody up against LMQ. They're trying to defend against this tower, but Super Team NA cannot. Flash and a stun. The Super Mega Death Rocket goes in, but it is just a scratch against Ackerman. He picks up the kill onto Leona, the 3rd of the game for him. LMQ, they got a 4v5. They got towers in their sights. NACL comes in from the back, didn't even know what he's doing over there, but he pays for it. The iron price for NACL there, trying to flank LMQ. Spears, pokes, and spider bites, oh my. Second inhibitor of the game looks to be going down at 22 minutes and 15 seconds. Actually, they're taking a little bit longer with this one, but it goes down anyway. 22-22 is the timer on that one, Malphus, and 2 inhibitors down. The 20-minute mark has just come up. There's not even enough gold on the side of Super Team NA to really buy a big ticket item they need to even just get one of their members alive enough in this game. Like, they just don't have the money to survive against LMQ right now.
There's so much aggression on this team that more is flashing in to take kills away from Wei Xiao that are like guaranteed. Like, Lee Sin, with all of his cooldowns down, is 1 pounce away from dying to Wei Xiao, and more flashes in to try to kill him first. Like, I don't even know what to say about this play. It's been a long time since I've seen an entire team play this bloodthirsty. But this is just absolutely incredible. LMQ are completely controlling game number 1. It's 14,500 gold between these two sides. There's 2 inhibitors down right now. LMQ are picking up a Baron and pushing through a lane away from taking game 1 of the series.
The Chinese style of League of Legends. They play super aggressive all the time. They try to win out their laning phases, then they just kind of push into the enemy's face until their face can't take a beating anymore, and then they fall down. It's kind of funny because in other MOBA games, the styles completely flipped, where the Chinese style is let's farm for 70 minutes and then try to win the game with one aggressive push, whereas the aggression just is non-stop here in League of Legends. And LMQ, they embody it, and they're bringing it into a what seems to be unprepared NA Challenger circuit here. I'm saying that because in the Coke League, they've won every single game. In the Ranked 5's ladder, I think the losses that they had could be counted on like one hand. I think maybe at most they had 9, but that's still a single-digit number of losses in the Rank 5's NA ladder. And this is some of the top Challenger talent. This is the Cloud9 Tempest. This is the Complexity Reds. And here the Super Team NA, who are members of extremely strong former LCS and top-tier Challenger teams. And they're just not able to compete with what LMQ is bringing to the table in NA. NACL loses 3/4 of his HP to 1 spear. Zhao pretty much solos him in the middle of his team right there. Arthalon has to try to flash away. The Baron is going down while I'm just rambling on about how good LMQ is, and they're about to show you guys what a fight. The talisman goes off. The spear chunks through Arthalon and the shield. The Cocoon locks down on Executioner Ken, and he gets eviscerated right there. Nidalee picks up her 6th kill of the game, as LMQ, they don't even need this inhibitor because they've already got 2 down. So they're going to wind up pushing on to the Nexus towers here, and I don't think Super Team NA can even defend if LMQ were to tower dive in this circumstance. Well, We're going to see if they can, actually. They go through the 2 Nexus Towers. The culling comes out. It deals damage. That's how far ahead LMQ is at this point in the game, guys. A flash filler from Nick Wu is a flash to his death. No one on LMQ is dead, despite the low blinking health bars. Trooper tries to throw the ball out, but he's going to get zoned out by Xiao. Executioner can with home guards. Ultimates on the super minion as Vasily sidesteps it with his E. Leona goes up, Leona goes down, and game number 1 goes to LMQ.
Oh man, I just had flashbacks to the Super Bowl last week, and this game was so one-sided. I don't even know how to describe this. LMQ just took Super Team NA apart.